Siyata Dishmaya. We're now in Shabbos, in the midst of Hanukkah. Parashas Mikeitz. Mikeitz is the parasha of Rebuke, Rebuke. Rebuke, we know Chazal teach us that more than there's a mitzvah to be said Teichocha, is mitzvah to be silent, not so people silent, not say Teichocha, people don't rebuke, if people won't accept it. Not only that, it's brought down in Chazal, we saw in previous parasha, Mutov sheyatil odom atzmo lekiv shamayesh. It's better for a person to put himself into a furnace of fire. People should not shame the face of his friend in public. Which means, we learn from Tomo, she could have given a rebuke. You want to kill me, you are the fault. But if she would say that rebuke in public, she will shame the person, and that shaming is like killing him. So it's better, she better even to kill herself. Tosfos asks, why is not brought down as of a fourth halakha that you have to kill yourself? We know for three things you have to kill yourself. Forbidden relations, and killing. Now we have a new halacha. Rebuke. If you say rebuke to someone, you shame him in public. Shaming in public is better to kill yourself. So Tosfos has two answers, or it's part of Retzicha. So it's part of really of the three things. Or you're right, it's a fourth thing. Why we didn't mention Lav Davka, there's a fourth thing. But according to one teretz and tesis like Retzicha. So not always you give rebuke. You have to know how to give rebuke, what timing, how the person will listen and hear about it, convince him. Sometimes even if you know a person won't listen, you still need to make a mechor, not a teichocha, but a mechor, a protest. In order it should be nitpas, should be grabbed, and you're part of that. In order the shamayim, you say part of that, you have to give a teichocha, like the city of Shechem, they didn't rebuke Shechem, so they deserve death. It means they didn't rebuke, they're part of it. Pelegesh Bagiva, of the whole story of Pelegesh Bagiva, they raped those girls, of the concubines of this man, and Binyamin, and none of the tribe of Binyamin rebuked and set off against it. So the rabbis of Sanhedrin in those days understood that they all deserve death, and they almost destroyed totally the tribe of Binyamin. So to give rebuke has a very serious two sides to it. If you don't give rebuke, so you're part of it. If you know about it, you have to make a teichocha. You have to make a mechor. And if you give rebuke, you have to know how to get rebuke. Because if you don't give the right rebuke, you're killing a person, hurting him. Instead of being hurt, you're hurting him. So how do you do it, and when you do it? Chazal even teach us, if you see a Talmid Chacham that did a sin at night, don't think about it. Don't think about it. We have to rebuke him. Don't rebuke, don't mehare. That Bevada surely did tshuva. Till the next morning did tshuva. Which Aver you see a person at night. You see Talmid Chacham goes to a whore at night. He goes with an Aver of Gilu Arayis at night. Don't mehare, he did tshuva. Talmid Chacham Vada did tshuva all day long. Think about it, is intact to his reality, and he always, even if he fell, he did tshuva. So this is really a very big yesod in rebuke. When we see in our parasha that Yosef HaTzadik was a professional rebuker. the most professional rebuker, because he could have right away told his brothers when he met them, you guys sold me. They didn't do it. He waited a long time. The Ramban says he took a risk. Maybe the father will die in the middle. Maybe until he's going back and forth and sending him, and the food goes down, and he said, don't come back. And he took her brother, and he took a whole, who knows how long, a couple of months, who knows what, a long time, until he came to the position of the proper position to give the rebuke, and he said, whatever he said, we're going to see in a second how the rebuke he did, and the stages. So we're learning from Yosef HaTzadik, who was a tzaddik L'Shem Shamayim. His goal was to rebuke. It's not just to give them a rebuke. His goal was L'Shem Shamayim with all the heart that his brothers will do a complete tshuva. And we look carefully what exactly the words they said each time and how the rebuke was going on stages. So the first time he says, "You guys are meraglim, you guys are spies." Because when he met them and he remembered them, and he remembered the stories, the dreams, so right away he says, "You spies." They say, "Not true, you're not spies." He says, "Why you went through 10 places?" Because I was searching for Yosef. So you're not. So he says, "No, you guys are spies. Why you didn't come on one gate? Why you scattered? You look all over the country. Means you're looking for something. You look at the spy and conquer Egypt." So it's not true. We 12 brothers. All one father, and the little boy, our father's gone, and we're searching for him. So Yosef says, that's what I said, you're exactly, like I said, you're spies. You want to destroy the country. It's okay. You have a young brother, you're not going to come back, you're not going to do anything until you bring one brother here. Send one of you and take your brother and bring them here. Let's see if he's saying truth. So Yosef puts them in jail for 3 days. And then the third day he says, okay, I'm afraid of Hashem. But if it's true, I will, instead of sending one and everybody stays, everybody goes and one stays. He took Shimon. Okay. So here let's see the words that they talk to each other. Vayoimu ish Elohim. Chazal says, who is Ish Elachiv, is Shimon to Levi. But the brothers are talking. What do they say? Avol Hashem imanachnu. We are Hashem. Hashem means we are blamed. Alachinu on our brother. And why? What's wrong? What we are blaming our brother? We saw his pain of his soul. When he begged us. He begged us. Veloy shomanu, we didn't listen. Al kain therefore ba'atzor azoy. That's why this pain, rebuke, this thing came to us. They didn't say, oh, we sold him to a slave. They didn't say we gave our father pain. We didn't care about our father. They just talk about one point. When they saw the brother screaming for help, he begged them for help. We didn't care about it. That's the whole story. You sold him. You sold your brother. You lied to your father, he gave him pain. Reuben says, Vayan Reuben oiso. I told him, don't sin on a child. And you didn't listen. Now his brother's being demanded. They didn't know Yosef understood. By Yosef went away and he cried. He took Shimon. He did the whole story of, and he put the money back. He got scared. Okay. He came to the father. The father didn't want to send nobody until the food was gone. Reuben tried to convince his father. Then Yehuda, when it was very big hunger, to Yehuda. Then what happened? He said, I take responsibility. Means they care about the father's pain. Okay, he says, go to Yosef. So they take the money back, then he paid them back. He took new money, they take Binyamin with them, and they go down to Egypt, come to Yosef. So what does he do? He says, let's make a feast. Now they never ate. Chazal teach us. And that day they came down to make a feast. Means only that day. Until then, they didn't eat meat. They didn't drink wine. They were in pain. And what they brought upon their father. Yet, there's not a full tshuva. Okay.
So why did they eat?
They eat meat. They drink wine.
Because they were told to?
No, because Yosef to get them to do that. But really, until then, they didn't do it.
But they weren't doing teshuva yet.
Let's see the words here. Okay, they prepared to give a gift to Yosef until he comes in. He comes in, they're making to eat, and he tells them, how's everything? Your father still alive? He says, yes. She's his brother, Binyamin. Right away, he goes out. He couldn't hold himself out, but he's holding himself. He goes back in, cries. He washes his face. He comes back in. Means Yosef is holding himself back for a long time with tremendous control. To do what? To give the proper rebuke, to change his brother's midos, that they will do tshuva fully. Okay, they're now sitting to eat. Okay, he sends them away, and he puts his gavia, his cup, amongst their bags and Binyamin's thing. Okay. They go out. He runs after them, and they found the gavia by Binyamin. We give out. They said everybody will be slaves. That person will be killed. What they said is their own words. They will show nobody found it. Nobody's a tzaddik who's going to steal. And they find it by who? They find it by Yaakov, by Yosef, by Binyamin. They rip their clothes. They go back on the donkey. They go back to the city. Yosef says, what's going on? What you guys are doing? The one I found, I'm going to put him as a slave. So Yehuda comes in, and he wants to fight. Then what happened? So he starts saying, listen, I took care. I promised my father, if I'm not going to bring Binyamin back, my father will die from pain. Means they're not yet, not full tshuva. So I will be a slave estate of him. How can I go back to my father and the child is not with the Binyamin? Maybe he will die from it. Then Yosef couldn't hold out. He says, everybody go out. Means he didn't want to shame. When he wants to give a rebuke, he said, everybody's out. All the Mitzrayim are out. Because he didn't want his brothers to be shamed. Which means he's holding out himself for months. He's waiting for the Rabbi comes, the peak, that they're fighting for the honor of the father, doing tshuva. And Yudas wants to be a slave instead and want to rip on Mitzrayim. So Chazal, they're already prepared to destroy all Mitzrayim. If Yosef won't give them the back, Binyamin, they'll rip the whole Mitzrayim down and Shimon. And the Medrash goes in details how they fought and this and that. And Yosef came and he brought his son Menashe to find to show that he also has strength. And he was strength. The whole Medrash how he showed them strength. So they couldn't figure it out. They didn't destroy Mitzrayim right away. But only got to the peak that Yehuda was ready. His eyes became red and blood and tears of blood came out of his ears. Like anger. And he wants to fight for his father's honor and his brother. Then Yosef understood that he pushed the limits of his brothers to do tshuva, to fight for the father's honor. And only then he wants to review. He doesn't rebuke in front of nobody. He says everybody's out. Nobody stood with him when Yosef was revealed himself to his brothers. Yosef told his brothers, Ani Yosef, I'm Yosef. When you sold me, you didn't care about my father to die. So now you care about your father? You bunch of hypocrites. You're now fighting and you wouldn't even destroy Mitzrayim for the pain of your father, caring about Binyamin. What about me when you sold me? You didn't care about my father's pain. Means they did tshuva on that they didn't care about Yosef's pain. But what about the father? What about Yaakov Avinu? So when he saw his fighting for Binyamin, he says, no, but what happened by me? His brothers couldn't answer him because they got scared. When a person gets such a strong rebuke, he gets scared. He almost died. Even a busha from shame, as she says. My father, bless his memory, said, people which have a bipolar means most people, when something happens to them and they realize they did something wrong, how they balance themselves by saying, it's a mikre, it's not me, or my hand did, it's not me, my body, not me, the me. But when you have a rebuke on you, a complete steal on you, on your being, and you cannot get it out of it, you can't say it's not me, it's you. Such a rebuke is so strong that a person gets a nervous breakdown. Because he can't give an answer to himself. And used to teach us, bless his memory, my father, when a person has, somebody hurts him and he tells him rebuke, and in order to balance your body and your soul, he used to say, take your feet down and say, he used to say strong words. I can't say that in public. He used to say, look at it as feces and step on it. This is feces. It means to take it out of you, not to get into your beings once it starts creeping into your being. A person can kind of have a nervous breakdown. So psychologically, used to teach us how to remove it out of yourself. But when a person has a question of his being, you're a liar. You're showing you're fighting, you're a tzaddik. A person all his life thinks he's a tzaddik, and he's fighting and fighting. And then somebody gives a rebuke to show him the truth. You're a liar. You didn't care. I'll show you another reality which is too good. You didn't care about. It means you're a liar. You didn't care about my father. What about me? My father sold a lie when he sold me. Such a rebuke was so strong that they couldn't answer back. He got scared. Okay, once he gave the rebuke, he got them back. I love you, man. He showed him his bris milah. He spoke in Lashon HaKodesh. Go bring your father, his message from Hashem. But they didn't answer Yosef by saying, he just fell down and he kissed him. He cried with them. The brother spoke to him, but then it doesn't say in the Torah that he said, "We're sorry, you're right, we didn't care about you, we didn't care about our father when we sold you." It doesn't say that. And even later on, it's a big shayla if they did tshuva fully or not. But definitely they got to the stage of a full rebuke. They realized this. Later on, when Yaakov Avinu died, they were afraid of Yosef. Question is, did they ask Yosef Mechil or not? Machloikas HaMeforshim. I'll explain you what happened in the end with your brothers. But the rebuke, definitely the Torah calls them Shiftei Kor, the tribe of Hashem. Means they have a name of Hashem, the true, the tzaddikim. But Yosef HaTzaddik teaches us here in the Torah that he was a professional rebuker. He held himself back in such a hard pressure situation. And he gave that rebuke in one shot. He prepared the situation, holding back, crying. It was very hard for him. He had to run to the side room. You heard every did stages. He held it only in order to hit the right time. When the iron is totally hot, that he could give them, they would be in the position to hear the proper rebuke and not have a nervous breakdown. That's why it says in Chazal that the father should not give rebuke to his kids only before he dies. Why? Why only before he dies? Should be in a position that he hear rebuke and he give again rebuke. Rebuke has to be one shot, a proper moment, strong to the point that a person can handle it and he hears it. And then he has to make a decision to change. How to change the truth. Very big lesson. We can look at ourselves. We think we're tzaddikim, we care about people, we do tzedakah, we do chesed, we teach Torah, whatever. We think good about ourselves. But if you look careful on yourself, how you act in other areas of your life, you'll find a real contradiction in yourself. That's a very strong rebuke. The person has to rebuke himself to do cheshbon hanefesh. It's very hard. That's why Rabbi used to pay people to give them a rebuke. The Marashal used to pay somebody to give a rebuke every day. Big tzaddikim, they paid money because nobody's going to give you a real rebuke. People are afraid. What I think about you, Shlomo HaMelech says, I'm not going to talk to you directly what I think in my heart about you, because if I will, you will never be my friend. So a person only speaks to another person only 50, 40, 60% of what he thinks in his heart about his head. Even your best friend, even your wife. If you tell her everything you have in your mind, you have a divorce. And sometimes you think like this, and Larry says, no, I was wrong. She's not like that. It is ups and downs. Hashem made it, as Shlomo HaMelech says, nobody can say everything he has in his heart. He said, otherwise nobody can talk to each other. And people talk to each other with love and friendship, even though there's a certain percentage in their mind. Well, this guy's bad, Milo's here. Okay, I overcome that. But now they tell the guy, listen, I respect you, we have a bad Milo's here. And he blankly tell you what you feel about your friend. Nobody will be your friends. She made it so. But as far as to get real rebuke, it's very precious. Ashrei Aish Asher Teasrenu Ko Metoros Chotelamdenu. Happy is the person Hashem gives him affliction and he teaches him his rebuke from the Torah. Happy is the person. To learn rebuke, to know how to handle. I will just finish with a story. I was sitting with Rabbi Mendel Shafran in the Bar Mitzvah in Bnei Brak the other day. I was talking to him about how can a person seize from the punishments, from the pains that he has in his life, how to do tshuva. So I told him there's a Sefer Charedim that Sefer, what's the name? That if you get, let's say, punished, you get a hurt in your hand, says it must be, I didn't put tefillin right. It means you have to look at the mitzvahs of the hand, and through that you learn to rebuke. Which limb is it? Which belongs to which mitzvah? So he told me, doesn't mean literally. It means that every person, Hashem gives him a punishment in a certain way, that according to this person's eyes, he will connect things, which means certain people who get a hurt in the hand will connect the feeling. But certain people, when they get a hurt in the hand, they will learn how they do business, because the hand represents business. And, doing the work of your hand, work of my eyebrows, my work, my parnosa means not necessarily, which means Hashem gives a person a rebuke and certain limbs and certain things or certain ways that according to that according to that person's eyes, you will able to pick up and understand what is the rebuke of Hashem. So, David HaMelech says, we say it every morning. Vayomer David el God. David told the prophet God, Niflono beyad Hashem. Let me fall in the hands of God. Niflono beyad Hashem. Let me fall in the hands of God. Veloy beyad Odom, not in the hands of a man. When a man gives you a rebuke, when Hashem sends a rebuke through a punishment of a human being, it's very hard to go out. But if you direct it with Hashem, Niflono beyad Hashem. Let me fall in the hands of Hashem. Because then the rebuke is directly from Hashem. And able to do tshuva directly, quickly. Things can be removed. Akoponim, this is the biggest lesson we learn in our Parashas. That when a person wants to give or he feels he needs to give a rebuke to another person, first all he has to know, if he doesn't give a rebuke, he's part of it. And he has to know he just can't just give a rebuke. You have to know how to give a rebuke. You have to be a professional. You have to think a lot about it. How and what way, what time. Not just to go ahead and rebuke. If you give a rebuke the wrong way, is mutav sheyapil odom atzmo lekiv shanaesh. It's better to throw yourself in the furnace of fire and not shame your friend. Why? I didn't give a rebuke. He's killing me. He did that thing and he's saying I'm the fault. Thomas says, no. I have to give a rebuke now. Sometimes you give the wrong rebuke. So you have a good heart, a good intention, and you do both bad and good, and you hurt another person. You get double punishment. One is that's why Hashem gave you a punishment, and so on, because this and now you want to say rebuke. He said the wrong way. He did nothing. It's not easy. Hashem demands us perfection in all ways. Hashem give us a bracha. Able to do tshuva and shouldn't have any rebuke, not from human beings, not from Odom, just from the hands of God. And not only that, not even in the hands of God, it will be perfect. Shouldn't have to get rebuke. Able to walk in the ways of Hashem without rebuke. But if you do have a position, you have to think a lot about it. You have to speak to a rabbi, a Talmid Chacham, and discuss and think exactly how to say the rebuke. Oh, I have what to say. You don't take anything you have in your stomach and say. You can be a sinner. You can be a deserved misa. Part of Netzicha sometimes. You have to know how to do it right. Good Shabbos. Chag Sameach. Rabbi Chananya ben Akash Yoimer.